Starting a new job is always a little nerve-wracking, isn't it? All those new faces, trying to remember names, figuring out where the coffee machine is. My first day at the advertising agency was no different. I was a bundle of nerves, but everyone was so welcoming. I met Sarah, my cubicle neighbor, and we hit it off right away. We chatted about our favorite shows, our dream vacations, the usual getting to know you stuff. During lunch, a few of us gathered in the break room. Sarah was telling a funny story about her cat, and I was laughing along. Everyone seemed really nice, and I was starting to feel like I could actually fit in here. The atmosphere was light and friendly, and I was actually starting to relax. As we were wrapping up our lunch, a man walked into the break room. He was carrying a brown paper bag, and I remember thinking he looked vaguely familiar. He walked straight over to Sarah and handed her the bag with a smile. "I picked up your favorite," he said. "Hope you're having a good first day." Sarah smiled back and thanked him. "Everyone, this is my brother David," she said. David waved to the group and then turned to leave. "See you at home, sis," he called out as he headed out the door. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a very strange and unexpected journey. The rest of the afternoon flew by in a blur of new information and introductions. I was exhausted by the time 5 o'clock rolled around. As I was packing up my things, Sarah stopped by my desk. "Ready to grab a drink?" she asked. "There's a cute little bar down the street." "Sure," I said. "Why not?" We walked to the bar, and it was pretty crowded for a Wednesday night. We managed to snag a couple of stools at the bar, and I ordered a glass of wine. Sarah was telling me about her last job, and I was trying to follow along, but I was distracted. I kept thinking about the man who had brought Sarah her lunch. There was something about him that seemed off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Sarah took a sip of her drink and smiled. "Oh, we are," she said. "David's the best." There was something about the way Sarah talked about David, something in her eyes that didn't scream sibling. Suddenly, it hit me. The way David had looked at Sarah, the way he had touched her arm when he handed her the lunch bag. It wasn't a brotherly touch, it was something more. A slow sense of dread crept over me. The realization was unsettling, and I couldn't shake the feeling. The next morning, I tried to shake off the uneasy feeling from the night before. I told myself I was overreacting, that I was reading too much into things. But every time I saw Sarah, I couldn't help but think about her conversation with David. Their words echoed in my head. Their laughter seemed louder. Their smiles seemed different. The image of them together in the break room played in my mind like a broken record. My attempts to ignore the situation proved futile. The air was thick with unspoken words and confused glances exchanged between colleagues. Whispers followed Sarah and me, hushed conversations abruptly ending as we passed by. One afternoon, I found myself alone in the elevator with Sarah. The silence was deafening. As the elevator doors were about to close, she turned to me, a hesitant smile on her face. "So," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "about my brother." Sarah's words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken truths. My heart pounded in my chest, a drumbeat against the silence. "Yes?" I finally managed, my voice catching in my throat. She took a deep breath, her eyes meeting mine with a mix of apprehension and determination. "David's not actually my brother," she confessed, her voice barely a whisper. "We're married." The world seemed to tilt on its axis. The ground beneath me felt unsteady, the walls of the elevator closing in. "Married?" I echoed, the word a foreign sound on my tongue. She nodded, her face a tapestry of emotions, fear, hope, defiance. The elevator doors opened, releasing us from the confined space, but I felt more trapped than ever. "We're adopted," she continued, her voice gaining strength. "We met later in life, and well, we fell in love." Her words washed over me, each syllable a wave crashing against the shores of my understanding. Adopted siblings, married. The concept was so foreign, so unexpected, it took me a moment to process. My mind reeled, trying to reconcile this new reality with everything I thought I knew. This revelation was a lot to take in. The revelation hung in the air between us, heavy and inescapable. It was a truth that challenged my preconceived notions, forcing me to confront my own biases. The office, once a place of comfortable routine, became a stage for whispered speculation and sidelong glances. The weight of their judgment, their curiosity was palpable. I felt like an outsider looking in, privy to a secret that was both fascinating and unsettling. One evening, after another day of navigating the minefield of office gossip and veiled judgments, I found myself back at the same bar with Sarah. This time, however, the weight of unspoken words hung heavy between us. The easy camaraderie we once shared felt strained, replaced by an awkward tension that crackled in the air. We sat in uncomfortable silence, the weight of her truth pressing down on us. The silence stretched between us, punctuated only by the clinking of glasses and the murmur of other conversations. I looked at Sarah, really looked at her, and saw beyond the labels, beyond the societal constructs. I saw a woman deeply in love, her heart bound to another's by a connection that transcended societal norms. And in that moment, I realized the limitations of my own understanding. "It's okay if you don't understand," she said, her voice laced with a vulnerability that tugged at my heart. "It's not exactly something you learn about in school." I reached across the table, my hand covering hers in a gesture of comfort and solidarity. "I'm still processing," I admitted, "but it doesn't change who you are to me, Sarah." Her eyes welled up, a tear tracing a path down her cheek. In that moment, I understood the profound power of empathy, of choosing compassion over judgment. Life, as I've come to learn, has a funny way of challenging our perceptions, of pushing us beyond the confines of our comfort zones. Sarah and David's story, as unconventional as it may seem, became a catalyst for my own growth. It forced me to confront my own biases, to acknowledge the limitations of my own understanding. It taught me that love, in its purest form, defies definition, transcends boundaries, and thrives in the most unexpected of places. The whispers in the office gradually faded, replaced by a grudging acceptance. The world didn't end, the sky didn't fall, and life, as it always does, went on. I learned to navigate the complexities of human relationships with a newfound sensitivity, a deeper understanding that everyone has a story, a truth that deserves to be heard without judgment. And as for Sarah and David, their love story became a testament to the enduring power of connection. A reminder that sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones that challenge our expectations and redefine our understanding of what it means to be a family. If you'd liked this video, like and subscribe.